Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HeroQuest, and in a move that is stunningly a departure from the regular direction of this channel, we are not going to be spending a ton of money on different RPG, tabletop, dungeon crawler, HeroQuest stuff. This time, we're just going to spend a little bit of money on that stuff, and I'm going to show you some print-on-demand authors from Amazon that are creating third-party HeroQuest content. I'm doing this because I feel like a lot of you probably know who some of them are, and a lot of you probably don't know who some of them are. Did that come out in an engaging way? We're going to start with Giles McNeel, and before we really dig into what we're doing here, I do want to disclaim that there's a little bit of a back and forth on the sidelines. Some discussion has been had, is being had, will be had on the ethics of distributing content for an IP for which you don't own any license. Such discussion is not beyond the scope of this channel, but it will be beyond the scope of this video today. Suffice it for me to say, if people are creating content and they're not being exploitative about the price, and it's really more of just to make back what they have to pay in to make the content available physically, I think that's totally okay. That's not an endorsement from me for anybody to create their own stuff by any means. You do your own research and figure out how you want to distribute your stuff. But we're going to be looking at 6 HeroQuest content authors today, all third party, all unofficial, all very affordable, in my opinion, and able to create hours and hours of content for your game. So maybe by the time you leave here, you won't have spent only just a tiny amount of money on stuff, and for that, I'm sorry, but you have some self-control, why don't you? All right, we're going to start with the most famous of them, Giles McNeel. This is the author of the Sunday Quest Adventures, and as of this video, there are 12 in the Sunday Quest Adventures series, each one sporting 12 quests for a total of 144 quests. If you figure that each quest takes between 30 minutes up to an hour, you've got like a maximum of 144 hours worth of gameplay in these books, and they are priced pretty appropriately, being kept around the $10 USD mark for the 6x9 paperback editions that very closely resemble the existing quest books you have for your classic game. Sunday Quest Adventures are compilations of adventures that come out every Sunday and are posted for free on the Old Inn, and usually you can find them also on the Old Inn's Facebook group, posted by Giles directly. So if you are interested in this sort of thing, but you don't want to pay any money at all, you can go look and find all of these quests for free. They're already posted. They are freely available from the author, and you can just print them off and play them. You don't have to have the physical book whatsoever to enjoy these. But if you want it, the option is there. The Kindle price is $5, which I think that's unnecessary. I think if it's being digitally distributed, that could be significantly lower, but I also have a bias against digital products in general, so don't at me. The physical, though, the paperback, is $10, and knowing what KDP actually charges and kind of how much money a person, an author, would make, that's pretty feasible. So at $10 a pop, you could basically knock out buying the first 1, 2, 3, however many, and then over time, collect these pretty quick in order to be able to supplement your game. We can read a sample. They are laid out very closely to the original Quest books. In fact, this series has been going on for some time, so you can consider this a sort of spiritual successor to the original HeroQuest, the 89 to 94 all games, all expansions, editions. And I say all because, as we all know, Keller's Keep and Return of the Witchlord were expansions that were released pretty much everywhere, but the difficulty of those expansions was different depending on which region you played them in, because the UK and EU editions had enemies that only had 1 body point each, while the US edition found the mummies and chaos warriors to be more difficult. Now, those are just some examples, but Sunday Quest is for a group of players that have at least completed Keller's Keep and Return of the Witchlord, and is recommended for players who have also completed the Against the Ogre Horde and Wizards of Morcar expansions. I know we don't have access to Wizards of Morcar as of the time of this video, but again, this is modeled after the classic game. Even if you haven't taken a party of adventurers through those expansions, you should still at least be familiar with the content and know where to find it so that you can introduce these mechanics or reintroduce them as the case may be. This can be played with the more recent re-release of HeroQuest, the 2021 edition, of course, and that disclaimer is in the first volume of Sunday Quest Adventures, but it is important to note that these did come out before the re-release did, so that's more of a friendly, hey, since nothing's changed, of course these are going to be compatible with your new edition. The map graphics are going to mimic the classic edition, though. So that's something to be prepared for so that it doesn't come as a culture shock to you when you open these books up. Now, seeing as though these quests are free and you don't have to buy a physical book to enjoy them, I strongly support the release of these. If I had to critique anything, it's just the Kindle price, but also the fact that newer editions have AI slop on the cover and in the pages of the book. This channel's official stance is don't put AI anything anywhere in your product. Now, I said there were 12 volumes, and I meant that, but there is a separate line of work. Giles has titled the Sunday Quest Expansion Quest books, and as of the time of this video, there are 5 of these. Now, these don't technically follow the Sunday Quest convention. There's not necessarily going to be 12 quests per book, and I don't know what the status is of each quest being free or released on the internet otherwise. But for example, Bloodhorn and the Dragonback Mountains is an adventure of 20 quests. Echoes of the Witchlord is an adventure of 13 quests. And The Rise of Felmarg is an adventure of only 5 quests. Like some of the classic edition expansions, you've got cards kind of built into the back cover of the book, so take a pair of scissors, mutilate your copy, and buy another one, I guess. We now move on to Anthony Hooper, who is the creator of the Cthulhu Quest series of HeroQuest third-party adventures, starting with the Miskatonic Uprising. These delve into the H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu mythos, and there's a lot of allusion to gore and body horror in these books. I actually have video overviews of these adventures on the channel, as well as a few of Giles' adventures on the channel, so do take a look around if you'd like to see more detailed looks at the books. Please forgive the borking of my browser's ability to preview the sample of this book. There are minor spell effects such as cantrips, there are new heroes, tiles, and lots of roleplay, lots of script to read. I need to close this. 6 adventures in the first book, which retails for $11.50 for the paperback, just $1.50 higher than the Giles adventure. $6.50 for the Kindle, again, not understanding the Kindle prices. The Forest of Flesh, which is volume 2 of this series, has 7 adventures. New ways to play the classic dwarf, more basic spells that wizards, warlocks, and others can buy, a new monster for heroes to defeat, a whole new class to play, and a system to use dungeons of old. All this content has to take up more room than just adventures would, so that's kind of where you get your 7 adventures. There's a lot of extra stuff in here, extra mechanics. It's kind of hard to tell because of the size and resolution of the image, but if that's AI, definitely worth looking into if you are wanting to put a body horror or horror in general spin on your HeroQuest games. A bit of grimdark, but not in the Warhammer way. Just so timelines kind of make more sense. This is still taking place in the general perceived timeline that you can imagine HeroQuest takes place in. When I say timeline, I really am more referring to like the level of technology and magic, the high fantasy vibe of the world. Yes, there is H.P. Lovecraft influence very heavily here. In fact, it's just H.P. Lovecraft, period. But that's not to say that the adventures are taking place over in Rhode Island, in the abandoned colleges of Providence, or in rural American farmland where horrors are invisibly growing in barns. It's a reference to 2 of my favorite stories. Can you guess which ones they are? We move on now to Luis Manuel Calenti de la Vega. We have books here, not just gaming books, but we have Dungeons Quests, as well as Space Quest, in Spanish and in English. Let's take a look at one of the English books. Oh, we've got a French one as well. Good job on that. Dungeons, Quests, and Campaigns. There are 44 quests in this volume to play on alternative boards, Original Ice, 4 Towers, Great Dungeon. So it looks like these probably go along with the Lost maps. Now I'll disclaim here that I believe there was a work of similar title, and I don't know if this is the same work, Dungeons Quests, that use the work of other creators without their consent. And again, I'm not sure if this is the same one. Google is right there. I could very easily just get that information. But this is more about just showcasing what is on Amazon right now. And if we read the sample of the book, this does seem like at least it's either not the work that I'm thinking of, or it's a revised version that doesn't have that work. And in the introduction here at the top of the page, it does say, I want to thank all the fans for this wonderful game, for the encouragement to write this manuscript. Without them, it would never have occurred to me to capture for the entire public the adventures that I have invented for more than 30 years. And then there's a special thanks to Joaquin Braga from HeroQuest.es. He is the author of some of the boards where the quests of this book take place. And the rest of the images are all royalty free, so I do respect that. Then we have samples of some of the boards here, just to let you know what kinds of boards you should be looking for if you're trying to acquire. If there's one that I actually really would like to have, it's this one right here. And I actually really respect this board too, although it is pretty huge. And then there's this little stinker. Look at this cute little board. It's so ridiculous and small. Size shaming the boards. Yeah, we've got an endorsement for Minis 3D. I'll just move on. An enhanced armory, an alchemist shop. This has 44 quests in it, and it is in a hardcover edition for $31.60 USD. The Kindle is $8.95. Now, if you remove the HeroQuest branding from your work, charge whatever you want for it. Charge anything. If you say, hey, this is... What the heck is that? Some of the recommendations, I swear. If you are creating your own thing, and it just so happens that you can play this thing with the HeroQuest board and rules, that's a little different. I don't have this, but I'm tempted. I'm going to do some research. Hello, Dungeon God. AI cover. Absolute slop. Garbage. This has nothing to do with the review. But do some research. Make sure that this is all ethically sound. If it is, I'm going to grab a copy of Dungeon's Quests. We're going to take a look at it here on the channel. It's not just one volume. This is the 4th volume, The Revenge of the Gargoyles. Trazon has summoned his darkest and most powerful magic to recruit an army of gargoyles. In this campaign, there will be 4 new boards through 25 quests: Stone Temple, Forest Temple, Desert Temple 2, and Water Temple, in addition to other already known boards such as the Stone Fortress, Caves, Dwarf Mines, Dwarf Tomb, Trazon Dungeon, Lava Pit, Border Gate, Ship, Forest, Inn, Mountain Pass, and Desert Temple. Both the boards and the necessary furniture can be found on the first page of the book through a link and QR code. Extremely ambitious, but also done. Also already released. Very ambitious. AI slop cover. Stop it. 15 new missions to play on 7 new boards to download and print for your favorite sci-fi dungeon. Spacecraft, giant ship, alien ship, 1 alien ship, 2 spatial station, planetary colony, outer wall of the colony. That looks like a Tyranid. I have high hopes. That's some kind of space marine. All the images in this book are designed by starting to see why they have the CCO attribution, but at least that's correct. I don't get a sample. I get nothing. I get AI slop and then a QR code. I want to know, is this for Space Crusade, or is this for Space Hulk? I mean, it has to be for Space Crusade, right? The paperback is $16. I really want to know. 7 boards, original work. The Kindle is outrageous at $8. That's not happening ever. I'm so curious, though. I'm going to have to research and dig into this because I really want to know, especially for the Space Crusade side, the potentially Space Crusade side. Our next author is Robin D. Laws and Greg Stafford, HeroQuest, Role-Playing in Glorantha, published by Steve Jackson Games. This is a real product. This is a first-party product, but this whole thing is a bit. This right here. This was published back when Chaosium, I think, had the trademark to HeroQuest, but we don't see the classic HeroQuest logo being used. HeroQuest has nothing to do with Glorantha. It never did. This was adapted to print money using the Glorantha name, or try to, and it was short-lived. So now Glorantha is back to strictly RuneQuest, where it belongs. Has been for a long time. But just in case you ever see HeroQuest books that look like that on Amazon, that's what those are. It's not relevant to HeroQuest or RuneQuest. It is a being of 2 separate species, never truly belonging in either world, shunned by both of its heritages. That doesn't sound right. Why are we still here? Let's move on to Lorenzo Rossi. I don't like this particular situation. He's got a lot of titles on here, right? There's a lot, and there's a lot of different languages, which is respectable. There's Italian editions, there's English editions, and they're not all HeroQuest related by far. In fact, The Lost Sword here is a novel that revolves around the character of Laren, a skilled hunter who lives in a small island in northern England, and so on. However, what HeroQuest work there is very much license dismissive. And what I mean by that is HeroQuest, The Adventures of the Hobbit. Now, we can split hairs all day about, well, you can't have a trademark or a copyright to a race and so on and so forth. You know what this is. You know what this is. I actually highly respect and love that so much of the maps seem to be hand-written, hand-drawn, hand-placed. But you've got Oin the dwarf, Gandalf the wizard, Gloin the bard. You are using property that's just, it's fan fiction and selling it. This kind of behavior, again, I'm just showing it because it is available on Amazon. And if you don't care about this sort of thing, you can go here and you can buy every single one of his HeroQuest books. And you too can play The Fate of the Ring. And where is it? There's one that has to do with the Silmaril. For the most part, this stuff is fine. You change a few names, it would be 100% great. I would absolutely get behind it. But like, not only are you just using names of stuff that, you know, you don't have to, it's kind of, it kind of poisons the experience with the branding of something else too. You know, it's very, hey, well, I mean, this is Lord of the Rings. That's what it is. There's a Hobbit, Silmaril, Lord of the Rings. It's fine to have. I'm not saying you can't have a Lord of the Ring. I'm not going to gatekeep. You can have whatever HeroQuest game you want. You can have a My Little Pony HeroQuest game. Power to you. But like, don't put it in a book and sell it. Or do, I mean, but do it as a first party. Hasbro, get on it. I want my Pinkie Pie Warlock, Fluttershy Druid. Yeah, you heard me. Go tell me the character Discord doesn't make a better dragon than what we got in First Light. Tell me. You can't. You can't. Sit down. What's Battle Masters? What is this? I can't sample it. In the Wildlands, Balar's army of goodwill faced treacherous battles against the evil Cedric and his forces of chaos. Yes, it's a Battle Masters book. Oh, yes. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's so... We just get the one page. Always. Too few pages. Now, I do have a legitimate, actual complaint. It's not just me nagging for the sake of it. I did a couple of videos on Lorenzo's books, specifically HeroQuest the Dragon Hunter. I have this one. And the hand-drawn maps are so nice. And the text is honestly fine. And it's very accessible. You can just play them. All you need is the base game. But a huge problem that I have is at some point the quests are offset where like the maps are on one side of the page and you have to turn the page to get to the quest notes. That is a wreck. That needs to be fixed ASAP. That is beyond me being picky. That is beyond ethics and morals. Fix that. Fix that. That is absolutely nuts. You can't have a book where the map is on one page and the quest is on the other unless I got a misprint. And if I got a misprint, I would like to know. I'd like to know if anybody else got a book with that particular problem. We're going to look at Chuck Green last on this list, and he's got, it looks like 3 books titled LionsQuest for use with the classic game system. This is exactly how you should brand this. The paperbacks are 14, so far they are the highest of any of these, owing to a capitalistic need to profit off of that which is not ours. Published under the branding Wizard of the Ozarks. And very explicitly calling out lore tome, Zargon, Morcar, spelling Morcar with a slightly different spelling. It doesn't matter. Morcar is not used anymore. I'm sorry. If you're not from the US and you are still using Morcar, actually, you are playing a great game of HeroQuest. But I'm just saying, if people in the contemporary sense want to create Morcar adventures, that should be totally fine. At least as of the time of this video, since we don't have an official Wizards of Morcar re-release yet. And I say yet because I'm hopeful. We've got 3 here. Morcar's Dark Dungeon, Fall of Ragnar, which looks like it's using AI slop. I hope it's not, but I mean, And Cult of the Black Hand, the Dwarf Quest Pack. So this is, look at the actual product page. As many fans of HeroQuest are aware, an official Dwarf Quest Pack was considered and notes were even made, but production of this new expansion was never made or put into production. We received a Barbarian Quest Pack in the form of the Frozen Horror. We received an Elf Quest Pack in the form of Mage in the Mirror. We never got to see a Dwarf or Wizard Pack. Being a big fan of the Dwarf, I decided to try my hand at drawing up and fleshing out one for myself. Using the notes that have leaked about a Quest Pack in the 90s, I hope to try and stay as true to the original idea, but wanting to put a generous spin on it as I could. The end result of many weeks of design and hours of playtesting is now in your capable hands. That looks like a Minotaur with the club, but I don't see horns, so I'm not sure what monster that is. Can we read a sample? I like the picture here very much. I think this is a great way to go if you're going to market your stuff. Just take a picture of the board. The quest is calling. Dwarf skill cards are another new thing added to this quest pack. You can find the cards at the back of the book. Thank you for that. Thank you. There's copyright, permissions, and acknowledgements. Huge respect for that. HeroQuest and the HeroQuest logo are trademarks of the Milton Bradley Corporation and Avalon Hill Games Incorporated, both subsidiaries of... I'd leave out the Milton Bradley. That's just factually not correct anymore. Use of the logo, theme, and images is not intended as a challenge or threat to the copyright. We've got 3 solo quests and 7 group quests, which is how that should be done. That's really nice. The Red Bull Tower. I can't wait to go. I'm going to kick back and watch some The Last Unicorn, and then I'm going to crack open an energy drink and enjoy Red Bull Tower. The last quest is a 2-pack. Oh, this is a generous amount of sample. Thank you so much. This is how this sort of thing should be done. I'm sorry to the other quest creators. This is superior in its sample showing. And look at what we have here. We just have the entire quest book right here in the samples. It's nuts. Okay, not technically. We've got like 2 solo quests worth of maps and notes. That's very generous. It does show us exactly what kind of content we can expect to receive. Copyrighted material. Copyright Wizards of the Ozarks 2022. That wouldn't stand in the slightest, sorry. You can use this exact quest composition and distribute it and receive absolutely no DMC takedown from this company. The text, yes. And the text actually does not have a copyright notice on it. But that's really cool. I really fell from grace on some of these. And yeah, I don't like AI, and I think you can do better than that if you're going to have any sort of art for your book whatsoever. Cover, inserts, margin art, whatever the case may be. You can do better. Using AI is a choice not to do better. It has nothing to do with money either. Nothing to do with commission rates. The pencil is right there. If you lack the skill, there's stock art. There's free stock art. And if it's not up to your standard, I'm sorry, but presenting slop from prompts is not up to the standard of a lot of folks either. It's not up to my standard. Buy your nephew a pack of crayons and let them illustrate the whole thing. I will buy that all day long. I do get a little worked up over copyright misinformation as well. People tend to see it as something much more complicated than it actually is. It's complicated to get started with. It's complicated to get into and learn about at first, but as long as you have it explained the correct way, it's very easy to maintain an understanding of copyright. I'm not a copyright lawyer, but some days I kind of think I could have made it as one. All right, copyright and art gripes aside, I really like seeing stuff like this, though. I do love seeing third-party adventures collected in these tomes that can be acquired and added to our own collections. I've got most of the Sunday Quest stuff. I think I have all of the Cthulhu Quest volumes. I've just got 1 or 2 of Lorenzo's work, and I actually don't have any of the others. I don't have any of Chuck Green's stuff. I don't have any of Luis Manuel's stuff. I'm interested, but I need to do some more research on it before I personally give money for it. Because if it's Space Hulk, then that's still cool, but I don't have Space Hulk, so I can't use it, and therefore I'm not interested. If it's Space Crusade, and it all belongs to this author, and it wasn't taken from anybody else, which I'm not insinuating that it would have been. I'm just referring back to my earlier comment about I don't remember which controversial HeroQuest Amazon seller was using other people's stuff without their consent. I don't want to support that. And I think that it had the word dungeon and quest in the title of the book. But it could have been completely different, and the situation could be totally different now. That I don't want to support that either. But if it's corrected, then that's something I can definitely support. Do you have any of this stuff? Can you let me know? Comments down below? And I will see you in the next exciting adventure. So until then, as always, brave heroes, I bid you a fond farewell for now.